Okay, we are recording. Let's officially start. So welcome to the May 2021 Drupal full CWG meeting. Yeah, so it's gonna be, we're gonna do something a little bit different today, and maybe we'll continue it next month as well if we need be. But George Matthes has offered to help us focus, help us figure out where we want to be spending our time. Because if you were at the meeting last month, we started wandering a little bit when it came time to talk about what workshops we wanted to go after, and a little bit with blog posts and other offerings that we want to be proactive on. And George suggested it might be a good idea for us to do an exercise to figure out what we want, exactly what we want to focus on. So I'm going to blow through the normal part of our meeting very quickly, which should be easy because we can skip a lot of the workshop discussion stuff that we normally talk about, and then give George as much time as possible. So I'm going to go pretty fast here at the beginning, but feel free to interrupt me at any time if we need to. So community health. Mental health first aid workshops. There's actually one tomorrow. Is there anything that we need to talk about for that workshop or any other existing workshops? Does that be for Amy, June, Darren, JD, or Donna? Or we just kind of...
I don't think so. We're sort of on pause.
Okay.
Unless other people think differently, but I think we're on pause for the meantime.
Okay. All the promotions, like you're not waiting on anybody doing, me or anyone else doing a promotion for any of those, right?
No, you should have them scheduled.
I believe I did. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, nudges. Nothing new. I don't think I've done any nudges in the past month. But let's just kind of, if you see an opportunity for nudges, use the nudge and then document it. The link is in this document and is in previous documents as well. Membership. Well, we're finally happy to announce that we're going to do a public blog post here in another, if I have time this afternoon, but more than likely tomorrow morning. But Donna Bungard is now a member of the conflict resolution team. So she actually attended our meeting. We had kind of a weird meeting last week because we had a meeting with the DA as well. But Donna attended the meeting last week, and we'll get her fully, well, maybe not fully onboarded, but she'll be ramping up, let's say, starting this week and the weeks to follow. So we're all looking forward to that. So thank you, Donna. No other activity there. Ambassadors, George D, anything on code of conduct stuff?
Not yet. I've been pulled in as an SME on some other stuff, and I've just had some other stuff going on, but I'm optimistic that I've done a lot of work in my brain. So I'm actually really optimistic that if I can just get it down on paper, we can make some progress very quickly.
Optimism is good. All right, other open source communities, or I'm going to change this to open source community health discussions. Oh no, yeah, so open source community health discussion. So I know that we've been having regular meetings. So Jordana or Ruth or George, George M, anything we want to talk about there? Or are we just kind of moving forward with those as expected, or anything to report back? No?
I didn't take note of anything to report back, but okay. Jordana probably has more to say about that.
No, everybody's excited and happy to be learning from each other. So it's overall, it looks like it's a good initiative. I'd like to have some more structure around it, but I think that's we're still working on it as we build up momentum.
All right, I would say it might be a good idea. So the May meeting is not scheduled yet, right? No, okay. So I would say we should probably start thinking about, there's no rush on this, maybe a blog post about this. So maybe bring
Yeah.
that up to everybody in the main meeting. See if someone wants to draft something. Maybe it can be like cross-posted among all the communities involved. Like one blog post cross-posted. That would be, I think, a powerful thing. And then I do have this note still about George Matthes. You attended the FOSS backstage, and you were going to get some contact info passed along to Jordana. Did that ever happen? Can I remove this?
Yes, it did. Yep.
I'm going to remove that from the minutes. Very good. All right, moving on. Community event support. April, anything with code of conduct contact training we need to talk about?
I don't think so. I reached out to get confirmation on JD's completion, and I haven't really heard back from Sage. So I sent them an email Sunday night, I think. So hopefully we'll hear back if there anybody from Drupal community that's completed recently.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. Well, that was it. Okay. Anything else for the other? We got 4 other bullet points. I'm going to say something in a minute about the ADA stuff. But April, anything on any of the other tasks or issues that we've talked about that we want to bring up here?
Do we need to go ahead with the subsidy request, or what is the status on that?
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. Let me put that on my list and I will ping you about that.
Okay.
Outside of this meeting. I probably have the old request and maybe I'll just pass that to you. With April about oh my gosh, what are they called? The CCG. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I did bring up last month that we're likely to have we're going to need some discussion about ADA inclusivity and accessibility at Drupal events. There was an issue at a recent event, so we actually got together with the DA, the conflict resolution team, and some folks from the DA, and we're going to basically put together a playbook for Drupal events to use to help them, I'm not sure what the phrase is here, but better explain and provide accessible events. So that's actually already been started. And I'm hoping here in the next week or so, we can get a draft. We'll share the draft with us first, community health team first, and probably folks from the DA. And then as soon as we can, I want to, and April, I'm going to look at you here. I want to get this in front of the event organizers group because, they're going to be obviously an integral part of this as well. So that's what's going on with that. So just a heads up that, there's going to be a document for all of us to look at, and we want to get that pushed out to the community as quickly as possible because I think it's important. And I think it will, it's going to be a necessary thing moving forward as well. All right, next month's meeting, I'll send out a doodle. So George, there you officially have 48 minutes for the focus and exercise.
Okay, great. Thanks. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And this is an exercise in parallel thinking. So what I'm going to ask of each of you, that when I'm going to be taking live notes as we start the discussion in a PowerPoint presentation, and whatever is the main topic of that PowerPoint presentation, this is the only frame of mind that I want you in when we're talking about it. Okay. And what I'll do my best to do is try to get everybody to talk through it, but I have a feeling that we'll probably only get through about 5 people per slide. So if there's something you'd like to discuss further, just take a note of with me, and then I'll we'll do some offline discussion on the issue. All right. So this is everything that I'd like to cover. I'm going to time it. So when we start a slide, I'm going to hit the timer, and then when it's up, we're just going to cut it off right there. We're just going to go to the next slide. Okay. And if we buy some time and we have some time left at the end, we could probably revisit some of the things, especially if you have something you're holding on to. Please take note of that too, and don't let it go, because everybody, ideally, in the ideal state, every single person in the meeting would have something to say per slide. Okay, so we're just going to define our mission really fast, and I have a feeling that we can do this a lot faster if we just cut right to it, and maybe go with our historical leaders in the group, and with George or Mike or Jordana or Alex or somebody. You guys have been working on this for a long time. If you were to describe our mission, how would you describe our mission? I'll start with Mike.
Sorry, I was typing in the chat, so I just put in the chat. I think one aspect of our mission is to be leaders in open source community health, which in some aspects I think we already are. And the other thing I'll throw in there, and then I'll be quiet, is to be proactive in not addressing, but in promoting community health, or something along those lines. The proactive is the important part.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, Alex.
So to make the Drupal community welcoming to one and all.
Okay. George?
Sorry, I was on mute. To create a, I don't want to use the word level playing ground, but something like basically to create opportunity for people to participate and contribute in the community in a safe and supporting way. That's some words, but safe and supportive, let's say that.
Okay, Jordana.
I think most of it's said, but I think also maybe to identify issues before they escalate, or before they even arise, that could affect community health, and areas where we can improve community.
Okay. All right. So we have 2 minutes. I'll open the floor up. I'll start with Darren. Darren, what are your thoughts?
To make contributing to Drupal fun for everyone.
Okay, Amy June.
All of those things are good, but I like the word inclusive to be included somewhere, because that kind of sums up all the things.
That's the word I meant to use.
Okay. Everywhere. All right. April.
Maybe like connecting with expertise as well to bring in knowledgeable people and educate others to also be leaders in our community.
Use a bunch of words I can't spell. Okay. Donna. Hold on. I didn't capture that one correctly, April. Hold on. Let me get that one. Let's go back there.
I typed mine anyway. You can look
Connecting.
for it whenever you want.
Yeah.
You typed it?
Yeah. Figured I'd take a minute.
There's no
Okay,
chance of
awesome.
George spelling those words.
There's no way I can spell these words. Yeah.
No one can spell when we're staring at you. It's
All right. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. If go ahead, free for all. Anyone that hasn't spoken, please by all means speak up, and I'm Neil. Neil, I'll pick on you.
I don't think I have anything to add here.
Okay. Ruth.
I would just maybe add something about learning and sharing between open source communities.
Okay. JD.
I don't think anything I could say would be different than anything that's already there.
Okay, great. All right. I think I got everybody here in this one. So we have 43 seconds left.
Did you grab the 3 chats?
I did not. And what's my problem here is that I'm sharing my screen and Zoom is like unfriendly when you.
Do you want me to copy and
I
paste
got it.
this
I
into
got it.
Slack?
I got it. I got it. I got Donna's here. Okay.
April wrote one, and then I think you got Mike's.
I got
Completed
Mike's.
mine.
April, I got yours here. Thank you. Thanks for that. That saved us 10 seconds there, which is perfect. This one. Okay. All right. Oh, time's up. Perfect. All right. Next slide. All right. So with that understanding, now that we've kind of talked about everything here, let's just define the problems ahead of us. Like what are our problems? And
Our problems as a group or our problems as a community?
oh, I think it's wide open, George. Whatever you want, wherever you want to take that.
All
All right, I'm
right,
going to start the timer and then we're off. Go ahead, George. You're up.
great. One of our problems as a group is that we are under-resourced, i.e. we're all volunteers and we have no monies. I think one of our big problems as a community is that we are a group of people who is motivated for different reasons, and we don't have a shared understanding of purpose or leadership.
So are these like, I guess I'm having a hard time, similar to what George just said. Are we looking for like problems that we're trying to solve for the community or challenges that we face in doing so?
Yeah, there's no focus here. There's no focus here at all. The next slide, after the next slide, we're going to start to focus in. So, I just want you to call it out. What are our biggest problems? What are the things that we as a group need
This
to
is going
either?
to be meta, but we're
Yeah,
unfocused.
meta. Go for it.
We're unfocused.
Okay.
I mean, that's the problem. I think that's one of our main
Okay.
problems. I think we'd be more effective if we were better focused.
Great. I want to get a view where I can see everybody. All right, Darren, what do you say?
Oh, I'm new here. I think maybe expectations of what can be accomplished in a community of volunteers are unrealistic.
Okay. April?
I mean, we're solving hard problems as a group. People problems are hard problems. And so, communicating broadly to the community and finding consensus among a very diverse population can be hard, but important.
April, Amy June?
I do think a lot of the problem is, what others have said that we're community driven, but there's a lot of expectations from the community without a whole lot of support. Lack of volunteerism and things like that. And just to go a little further is sometimes the process that we take to get things done is very, very long. It seems like, for an example, like the nudges took a long, long time, which is fine, but
Okay. Oh, I can't spell nudge. All right, Jordana.
Sorry, I think one of our bigger things is engaging the community in a way where they feel they have engaging the community in a meaningful way where they participate in the solutions as well.
Okay, Donna.
I put mine in the chat again for you because I'm long-winded and I know we're short on time.
Great. 50 seconds. Neil, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe go back to focusing. I mean, really, I'm more, my role is to help out when Drupal.org's involved, and yeah, there's a lot of other programs going on.
Ruth?
I don't think I really have anything more to add.
Okay, thank you. JD?
Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button. Yeah, I agree, especially with the focusing and not having a lot of resources to solve all the things.
Okay, great. 5 seconds, Alex. Just ignore that.
Again, focusing is important because we've got a lot of topics that we have to get through and we haven't got the time. And if we're not focused on a specific item, then we're just going to be throwing time away, as I've just experienced with the time up.
Okay, all right. Moving on to the next one. Now, this slide here, I think we could take a shortcut here. I think we got a lot of history already with the group, especially with the folks involved with this effort from the beginning. I think I could just turn it over to you, George. If you could just summarize the history of the group and how it evolved in 2 minutes.
Can try.
Yeah.
All right. The incarnation of the Drupal Community Working Group was created in 2013, and it was following kind of a community governance summit that Dries led with a few other folks, where they really were wrestling with some of these issues of community governance as the project had scaled. It was initially envisioned as a group that was chartered under the authority of Dries in his capacity as project lead to help resolve conflicts within the community. And maintain the code of conduct, which already existed. And so that's sort of been the two kind of functions of the group, is code of conduct enforcement and conflict mediation and resolution, which has been a challenge from time to time. And then, but as the time went on, and particularly following some of the kind of community issues that arose around 2017, it became pretty clear that we needed to do more kind of proactive work focusing on community health and governance and leadership. And so so we were working on that. At that time, we also changed our charter so that we were under the Drupal Association, and had, instead of just answering directly to Dries, and we added in some kind of community accountability, because we report to essentially the community elected members of the Drupal Association board, along with a outside representative appointed by the board as a whole. And And then, yeah, I guess, year and a half, 2 years ago, we decided we needed to expand our group to include a committee of folks who did not specifically deal with the conflict resolution or code of conduct enforcement issues, but could provide capacity in terms of focusing on community health. And here we are. Did I miss anything, Mike, Jordana, Alex?
No,
No, I think that covered it.
Okay.
We're syncing our mute buttons.
It's all the
Okay.
high points.
All right, excellent. All right, so now let's get thinking here. All right, so now we've got a good understanding or equal understanding of the history, the problems, you know, the mission. Ooh, this is missing a slide. All right, so let's go back here. All right, so we have a bunch of problems here. All right, let's just take a, let's just take an average here. I think focus is the big one here. I think we got a lot of focus. We got 2 focuses. We've got expectations, lots of expectations. I think under resource is a big one. So if we were going to pick a big problem, I think the biggest one would be resources and expectations. Does anyone agree with that?
I disagree with that.
You disagree? Okay, so what would you think are?
I would think the focus is going to lead us to helping get us the resources and the resources to accomplish those goals, because we can't say we need resources if we don't know what we need resources for. If we know we need somebody to write a X, Y, or Z, we know to create a mini committee of 2 or 3 people to work on just that one task. I also think focus is going to help us get some sort of project management system, basically, where we can, not official, or it can be whatever. But my point is to get some sort of tracking thing there so we could work as a whole unit independently, kind of take on a scrummy kind of approach to it. Because I think there's too many hurdles, but we don't know what to tackle first.
Okay.
I agree.
All right.
Setting the focus first would probably set expectations, because then we will be able to set priorities and intentions around it. So we can set the expectations.
Okay, so the biggest problem, we're going to call it out, focus.
Basically, we need to PM the bejeebies out of this, I think.
PMing. All right. Okay, so now let's say this one here. Now this is the focusing statement. All right. What's stopping us from focusing on PMing our projects? What's stopping us from doing this? Anything goes. Anyone can call out, please.
I think coming up with a goal that is achievable, right? Like, we're not going to be like, we could say we want everybody to get along with everybody else in the community, despite the fact that we're from 200 different countries around the world. We all speak different languages. So I think that the lack of an achievable and maybe even somewhat measurable goal is preventing us right now from having a focus. Because a lot of the things that community health are about are qualitative rather than quantitative. So it becomes very difficult to say, if we solve this, then this is going to happen.
I keep thinking in terms of, if we were our own clients coming to us, we'd say we need a discovery. We need to query the people who are using this service to find out what they actually value the most. We need to set KPIs based on that. And then we need to create a roadmap to get it done. And I feel like that's a similar approach here, that we need to understand what is the most vital in the community. And maybe we already know that, but nonetheless, we need to document what that is. And then proceed down that list of, okay, if that's it, then we'll set A, B, and C as our strategic goals. We'll measure them using X, Y, and Z to chart our progress. And at the end of 6 months, we can look back and do a bit of a retrospective on, did we achieve those goals? Let's look at the measurements, yada, yada, yada. And it could be done through surveys, it could be done through outreach, or it could just be that we've got a lot of really people who've been doing this group a long time. Maybe we ought to just do it that way.
Okay. Wow. There's a lot of good thought in there. Thank you. All right. So back to our slide before where it was like we weren't prescribing it, like what our problems are. It was wide open. It's like team wise, community wise. So it looks like the next step here is to focus on defining what the big community problem we want to solve is. All right. And this was done deliberately, right? Like yeah, let's we want to zero in on understanding as a group that this is what we need to define. And we have 1 minute left. Anybody else wants to kind of say, okay, what's stopping us from defining the community problem now? I guess a discussion like this would be the start, but
I think because we want to do so many things, and there may be some of it might be separate thoughts in our minds, but they could all kind of work together. I think it would make sense for us to do a brain dump of all of the things we really want to tackle, and then we could probably stitch together things. Is that what you asked? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But I think
all right. I have an action item that I've just taken. We have 25 seconds left here, which is we're going to send out maybe like a survey monkey to everyone here, and just get everyone's thoughts on to the actual community problems that we have to that we have to go through. So that's going to be an action item. We're gonna list it all out. All right. That's going to be one of the artifacts of after this meeting. All right. Oh, so I guess we had to choose one of these things now. Hold on here. Click to close. Click to close. All right. All right. This is where my workshop broke. My workshop broke because we didn't pick a specific problem.
Well, no, I don't think your workshop broke, because if our goal is to focus in PM, and if you like the idea of organizing it by focus and group or whatever, the solve would be, we'd be organized, we'd have clear roadmap forward, we'd have measurable results, we'd have accountability to ourselves, each other, and the community. We'd have a retrospective to know what did and didn't work. We'd have all our standard project management success rates. We could basically do a SWOT analysis on ourselves when this is all said and done.
SWOT analysis, another.
Sorry, strengths, weaknesses,
great.
opportunities, and well, I usually call them SWO, but no one knows what I'm talking about, because I like saying obstacles instead of threats, because I think threats is a little bit too me. It's more like obstacles.
SWO is perfect. Thanks. Yeah, no, and so okay, another action item. All right, so we're going to send out a list. We're going to send out a survey monkey. We're going to list out all the community problems we want to tackle. Then we're going to run a SWOT analysis against each one of them, and then pick that one that kind of stands out. And we're going to know, how to measure that thing and how to report it back to who we are accountable to, which are the board members elected by the community. And they're okay. All right.
I don't know if you got April's question in the chat. She had a good question. Are we going to pick one thing or an MVP focus for each subgroup?
They both sound good to me, right? Like I think the MVPs is definitely. I mean, we have a lot of capacity here amongst us that maybe more than one thing can be handled. I think that's definitely something that's on on the table. So sure. All right. Yeah, I'll take note of that too. I'll put that in an action list. I pick an MVP, one item, or MVP. Okay, thank you. All right, so this slide's kind of moot if we're not talking about something specific, right? We're talking about what could go wrong if we're not focused. Sure, let's talk about it, right? We don't need 5 minutes. I'm going to cut this down to 2 minutes.
Mhm.
All right.
I mean,
Well,
people. Go ahead, Jordana.
I would say if we're too focused, we can lose sight of the bigger picture and we can lose sight of other action items we do want to take care of, which is the thing about having some place where stuff isn't lost. I almost said a bad one.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
I was going to say on the flip side of it, if we are continue to swirl and be unfocused, we're going to kind of lose engagement and interest from folks, and they're just going to kind of peel off until no one's left. We see this pattern a lot in the community with like people get together and then it just falls off if there's no clear goal or focus or progress being made.
Great. Thanks. Yeah, that's key.
You could get distracted with some big fire or issue. Or just
Like,
our lives.
yeah. That's another sort of pattern I think that we sometimes see in the community, that the sort of the long hard work can be easily derailed by some drama or incident that comes up and distracts folks.
Great. Anybody else itching to say something here? This is a comment. Everyone thinks, oh, there's nothing can go right here. This is a very common thing. This is kind of how we control the emotion in an exercise like this. We give everyone a chance to say whatever it is that could go wrong. Go for it.
Okay, so whenever I have one thing to focus on, I'm actually going to do it. And if I have a bunch of things that I'm supposed to be focusing on, I do nothing and want to sit and watch TV.
Got it. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll say easily distracted.
Procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
When there's too many things.
You just type April will just watch TV. That can be bullet point 4 right there.
We need more Marvel movies. We need more Marvel movies to fit in the procrastination time. Yeah.
They're releasing TV shows. You'll have to just binge.
Okay. All right. I want to cut it up to 3 minutes for the next slide. So this is just a factual data stuff, right? I'm going to try to I'm going to go to 5 minutes and just pick on everyone. Like, go down the list and start with you, Mike, and just facts and data around the obstacles that we're facing. How many people, how often. This will be pertinent to when we actually discuss some of the more community problems. So,
okay, so this is you're probably going to say that this is wide open, but are we looking at facts and data about the problems we're trying to solve, or facts and data about us as the solvers of that problem?
Oh,
sorry.
It's wide open. It's wide open, Mike. Whichever fact or data you got.
All right, so I'll give you one of each.
Right.
For us as the problem solvers, as of now, an unknown amount of resources. Like, we don't know how much time each of us can contribute. So therefore, we don't know how large of a problem or how small of a problem we should tackle. That's it. That's a much better way of saying it. And then for the problem we're going to solve, I think a pattern we see a lot is there are going to be folks in the community who are very passionate about community health. There are going to be a good number of folks in the community who have no opinion. And then there's going to be probably a smaller fraction of people, but not insignificant by any stretch, of folks who actively, they're not against it, but they don't understand why we're even talking about community health when we're a software community, and all we should be talking about is software.
Can I summarize that by saying there is a passionate minority
You can summarize it however you feel. Yeah, I'm not tied to any of those words.
All right. Amy June.
I don't know if this is not focused enough, but the larger our group gets, the harder it is for us all to come together at the same time. And our meetings are never at the same time. And it's really hard to know how much we can do ahead of time without that like mutual engagement. We only have like what 3/4 or half the people ever on these all team calls, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good, that leads to an action item that I want to capture and share later.
And that comes to like by the time the doodle is asked and then it's planned, some of us has already planned things in those times that we said we were available because we forgot we put in a doodle thing. You don't have to quote me on that one, but
Sure. Facts and data, just anyone, if you got one, fire it out. We've got 2.5 minutes on this. George, you've got some facts here.
Yeah, I keep going back to and thinking about like just figuring out some sort of funding model for supporting our operations, right? And this is something like we've kind of had this whole thing where it's like we've tried to do leadership workshops for folks in the community and and coordinating and getting someone to pay for that and everything has been really challenging to do. So there's like a if we want to do something at scale, there's a logistical question there that we haven't resolved.
Got it. Yeah, that's a big one. Actually, that could be one of the things we bring to the table with one of our big problems, right? How do we have a set budget to resolve the big problems? Like, how do we get that? That's, there's a lot of ways to handle that. But yeah, okay. All right. Donna posted a great one, which is we're not going to make everyone happy. That is a fact. Won't make everyone happy.
No, and I think that's where the KPIs are going to safeguard us, especially if we have to justify ourselves to future funders.
Yep. Yeah. We didn't hear from Jordana, Neil, Alex, Darren.
Jordana, type something.
Oh, okay, great. Let's capture that. Lose sight of momentum on ongoing items.
That was before. That was for the other thing.
That was yeah. That's what could go wrong. All right.
My interests are very narrow here, so I think I'm just waiting around until we get to something that I'm interested in. So maybe that I'm not the most helpful person. Maybe that's a fact. That's a problem.
Okay. Won't capture that as a fact, but thanks. Yeah. No, that's. Yeah. Well, I think as we become more focused, how we can contribute becomes a lot more clear. All right. So this is the section where we're like, all right, anything goes here. This is the creative section. If you like, an example of what we would do here is what's the one thing we've never thought of, or the thing that's too controversial that may resolve a lot of the problems that there's always some kind of impediment. Like an example would be like whoever came up with the idea of what if we didn't report to Dries and reported to the DA.
Well, that was the community. Let's be real clear about that.
That's a creative solution to a big problem that was presenting itself at the time, right? So yeah, here we go. Like, what is the creative solution to our lack of focus? Like, how do we solve that? How do we get better at focusing?
Paid staff.
Oh, boom.
You want big crazy ideas? I got them.
Big crazy ideas, yeah. Paid staff. Sounds.
Community survey. Simon.
Donna, you first. Go ahead.
Community survey to identify what other people perceive as some of the biggest issues.
Okay, Mike.
I think, for some of the things that we decide that we want to, I don't want to say the word fix, but improve. I think the best way to do it is probably also the hardest, and that's to come up with a creative, engaging either presentation or workshop that can be given at events, Drupal events. Something that people want to participate in that will help them personally, but will also further our goals as far as having a healthier community. And I just think that's really hard to do.
I see a problem with that is it's the people who want to participate where maybe that's not our target audience, like the people who need to take oppression workshops aren't the ones that are going to take them. It comes back
That's
to
where
that.
the creative comes in. And
Creative is a nice word for trick.
All right, yeah, let's just reel it back in. All right, our problems with slide was 2 slides ago. What could go wrong? So we'll definitely, when it comes back around, we'll go right through that again when we pick on the thing. So just everyone stay in the creative space here. What's the big ticket item that really solves some of our focus issues here? Something, paid staff. That's a great idea, right? Like
Project management system.
Project management. All right, anything goes. Everyone's idea is worth something here. So whatever you got.
Deadlines are usually good for getting things done.
That's great. Yes, volunteers.
Easier way for the community to engage with us, like if we do shorter surveys or quicker polls for them to.
All right, that's a cousin to this one here, right? Quick polls. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else? Neil, you got to have something for us with your access to Drupal.org. There's got to be some sort of secret that we don't know yet that you could be like, oh, we could just do this. And then all of a sudden,
Put a list of banned words on the site.
The list of banned words on the site.
No one can type.
Okay, sure.
Pronoun.
Can you program those into the CK editor where it will, or not the CK, whatever editor thing, so that way if you use them, it won't let you save?
I could do anything if we have enough time and resources.
Alex, Alex, being in the UK, you've got a different perspective. Appreciate some greenfield ideas on how to help us focus.
Well, it rains here, so we don't really go outside.
Okay. All right, I'm going to capture that as don't go outside.
No, I don't think we should. You get your fresh air.
All right. So I want to share with you some of the action items I picked up. And now I'm also going to just, I typed it into something I just can't easily copy and paste out of. All right. I got Jira or project management. Okay. SWOT analysis. One issue or an MVP. We got a. I don't want to say this, but we have to measure our capacity as a group. One thing that is used for this, and it might be compatible with the fact that we're volunteers, is story pointing, right? When we measure each of the issues, we all understand Scrum and story pointing, right? We could probably, I don't want to get too prescriptive about it, but our work isn't software development, but it is creative problem solving. Some issues are bigger than others. We could kind of assign a weight.
It's a little bit different though when you're dealing with volunteers versus employees, though, right?
Yeah, well, we're not going to
volunteers
measure
can
our
find
performance,
capacity
right?
when they're motivated, where employees have capacity because they're paid.
Right,
But
right.
my capacity right now might be X, but if you really motivate me about something, it might be 2X.
Right.
So you have to put that
Uh,
on the problems list.
let's, I don't know. I don't know how to, I don't know. This is a difficult one. And it might take some focusing and some creative ideas on how do we accurately describe or measure our capacity as a group to accomplish the things that we're setting out to do.
But it
but
makes sense that we create a focus thing first, then we can measure our capacity on how that's going to happen, and then we could set expectations and deadlines, because then we know how many people are available when, because some things might.
Yeah. It's just pretty simple, right? It's the more we do that, the more we understand what we can do and what we can't do, the better we can commit to certain things and kind of escalate the things that we might not be able to manage.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is the S in SWOT analysis, is that for survey?
Strengths, weakness,
strength.
opportunities, and threats.
All right, so should we
That's why I
have,
said SWOO, opportunities and obstacles.
should we put survey? Because we did talk about surveying us as far as like what we feel are the issues we want to work on.
I think definitely when we're talking about nominations or just trying to find members interested in joining, it's definitely something to understand, like what can we do now and what do we need.
Yeah, I think about community surveys, and I think there were like, I don't know, however many community surveys that were done between 2017 and 2018, and a lot of, I think the work we've done since has been responsive to that, but it might be interesting to get a sense of the pulse of the community where folks are at now.
Can I jump in on that? The whole thing about the focus thing is we grab like big chunks of the pie or try to bake whole cakes or whatever with the whole community in mind. If we are more focused, right, on how we do things, and we do things in focus sprints with very, like April said, clearer, more deliberate tasks or like action items, it makes it more sustainable. More people can jump in whenever needed because things are more clear. So I think the whole thing about focus should not just be on the things we're going to focus on, but how we focus on it. Rather than focus on, more laser focus on the things we focus on. Yeah.
I think once we have a focus, creating a roadmap and assigning, who owns what is going to help with that piece too. And we can assign things based on the inspired capacity.
Okay, so we're gonna do it. All right.
I like inspired capacity.
Okay.
A good way of saying it.
Okay. What's a versus actual or realistic or versus what?
Well, honestly, I think the only kind of
Forced.
capacity that matters for us is the inspired capacity.
Right. Yeah, that's it, right? And
Yeah. So
I
you
mean,
can
how do
delete
you
the
inspire
verses.
volunteers to get
Yeah.
active, right? That's a
It's not versus anything. That's what the capacity
Right.
is going to be. It is what it is. So I
okay.
don't even think you need the verses.
I think we definitely have one very clear action item that we can act on. We need a form of project management, something open source, something free. Where do we start? Trello? Is that, oh, it's not open source though, but we should, yeah.
Oh,
This is
we've had
funny
this
'cause-
conversation. We have had this conversation for years.
Let's, no, right? Well, we know what we gotta do. We just gotta pick one.
And you know what's funny about this? And I swear to
Right.
God, this wasn't done on purpose, but we have tabled this, for the conflict resolution team, as George said, we've been talking about this for years. And we had tabled it until we got a new member onboarded, because we were going to actually task the new member with help us find, a tool that meets our needs. And as again, swear to God, this was not on purpose, but Donna, as a project manager, might be perfectly suited to help us find the tool.
All right, so who wants to sign up and volunteer to do the cost benefits analysis of a project management tool for our group?
Is Donna still here, or did she drop?
She dropped. That's three.
Okay, well, then clearly it's going to be Donna.
1 minute.
I mean,
It's going to be Donna. No.
oh, sure, yeah. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
All right. All right. So this is where if we do this, we're going to get a lot closer to having a community focused problem. I was hoping at the end of this to actually have a community focused problem. Bye, George. Thank you. Yeah, so okay, one more exercise. Not an hour, not 45 minutes long though. It's going to be 20 minutes at least. Yeah, we're gonna do the survey. With the answers from the survey, we're gonna do a SWOT analysis on each, and then that'll kind of get us to where we need to focus. All right, and then how to manage ourselves with the project management and measuring our capacity. So we've got 2 projects there, picking a project management tool. And I think there's room for innovation here when it comes to measuring our capacity. Like, how do you measure inspired capacity within a volunteer group? That's amazing. If we solve that, you could write a book. All right, so
I will say on project management, I recommend just some sort of hosted software as a service thing. It's not worth someone spending time setting up an open source thing, hosting it. Like we don't have capacity to do that at the association.
Like, let's build it in Drupal.
yeah, you
that's
do that. You do that.
That's the problem with all these community projects.
Right.
Everyone wants to build a Drupal site instead of the hard work.
Yeah, that's realistic. Thanks for reeling that one in, Neil. You're right. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's open source or not. Right? Maybe we could get the DA to pay for it for us, or we could use the DA's project management tool.
Yeah, I mean,
why don't you phone that one in? Let's see how that one lands.
Yeah, we're moving. We use Asana internally. That's probably like a pay per seat sort of thing. And yeah, we'd want to keep that a firewall between, like, you wouldn't be on our instance, and we don't want to be on your instance of Asana. It's like, yeah, all of the,
I don't know,
permission, like
maybe we could,
is this going to have conflict resolution data, or?
I think anything goes. I think there might be an opportunity to find a grant for us to get, or just go to Asana themselves and say, hey, we want this, and they might give it to us. We're the Drupal community conflict resolution community health.
TechSoup is the kind of clearinghouse for nonprofit discounts. Yeah, you go there and they have the nonprofit pricing of all the stuff.
So George, will you be able to get just drop a PDF version of these slides in the Slack, on our Slack channel?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
And then I will ping you in the next few days if we just get the ball rolling on the survey, I think, right?
Yep.
And hopefully we'll be able to get more people involved, because I'm really not clear on what, like how, it feels very open-ended to me right now. And I feel like we kind of need to put some guardrails on it somehow.
Yeah. Well,
but let's
the guardrails are as far as everyone's thoughts on the thing go, right? So there's only a few of us, right? There's not like, it's not completely greenfield, unless you have so many thoughts on this, you could go for hours, but maybe.
All right, I'll ping you in a day or two, and we'll get that drafted and ask everyone else for feedback.
And Amy June, don't think I didn't forget that you have some what could go wrong thoughts on that one issue. So we're gonna revisit that. All right, you'll definitely be heard there. All right, that's all I got.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much, George. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right, I will send out the doodle and for next month's meeting, and then we'll be on the lookout in the Poundful CWG channel for help with the survey, and us getting the survey out, and then probably me bugging everybody to complete the survey. That's what you have to look forward to. So fantastic.
All right, wonderful.
All right, thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.